All right, so here's an interesting project. What I want to do in this video is delete the PVC system on this car. So what I did was I took off the stock little PCV valve, and I'm going to be replacing that with this catch can. Okay, so basically, when you start running like higher boost and making more power, the PCV system, whatever you call it, the PCV system, they're not quite, they don't really work well. And what you can get is you can get blow-by. When you start making more boost, you're going to get more blow-by. So you're going to increase your crankcase pressure, and that's going to result in your PCV system pumping more vaporized oil into your intake. Okay, that's why when you take these off and you look at them, there's going to be oil all in there, and that's what that's from. It's from the vaporized oil getting pumped into your intake. And another thing is that's really bad for detonation too. Vaporized oil will make your combustion detonate. So we don't want that. And so I'm going to delete it completely. I've already capped it off. Here I might figure something else out. I just put a little cap on it and a hose clamp. But I went ahead. I have a whole bunch of fittings from years ago, from my racing days. A whole bag full of. I always keep all my fittings. I just throw them in a bag, and you never know when you need them. But I found a combination that'll work with this. What I'm going to do, well, what I already did was I pulled off the stock PCV grommet and all that, and this dash 8 fitting actually fit perfect in there, and I put a nut on the back of it with Loctite and an O-ring. So this is in there really, really good. This side over here, at the moment, I don't have to do anything really, because what I'm going to do is I have a bunch of dash 8 line too. So this, let me see if I can find a smaller piece just to show you. Oh, that's 10. Where's the dash 8? Yeah, I had a piece of dash 8 around here somewhere. Anyway, I think you guys get the idea. What I'm going to do is basically I'll clean that up, and then this fits right on that fitting there. Then I'll hose clamp that on, bring it around, okay, and down. I'm not sure exactly where I'm going to bring it. Maybe like that or something. I'm not sure. But the other one, I got some fittings here, is going to come right through the intake right here, as you can see. Okay, hook there. It's going to come down around, and I'm going to, oh, here's that little piece I was looking for. Yeah, so this is what I was talking about. You're basically, this is going to go on there. Okay, it's going to wrap around. I'm going to have a dash 8 on here, and then I have, these are some fittings that I found. This is going to go on here. Let's see. This one can go on here. I may see if I can try and find another black one. I might have another black one somewhere. But, and then this, I'm going to mount right down here, out of the way, right in this area. So it'll be out of the way of everything, and I can drain it out the bottom if I want to. I don't suspect a lot of blow-by is going to be getting in there. I mean, but it will over time. It'll start to fill up. But yeah, then that wire, that 8 line can come up right through here, and then through the intake, and then into there. So right now I just got to make a little bracket that will attach to those 2 holes there, and then to the 2 holes on the catch can. So yeah, this is just a little catch can from, I got it off Summit. I think it was like 50 bucks or something. It's pretty nice. They sell different ones. There's 2 different kinds you can get. You can get that kind, which is basically you're deleting your PVC. And then they have the other kind where you base it, it's just it's a PCV valve that it's a catch can, but it still goes into your PCV system. You know, it still goes into your intake, whereas I'm not going into the intake at all. So this is more of just like what you would see like on a carbureted car, where they just hook it to the valve covers, so, or like a vacuum pump or something like that. So yeah, so that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to use I got some pieces of aluminum here that I'm going to try to make like a little bracket. And I would use like steel to do this, but it's just another excuse for me to use the TIG welder. I've been practicing on aluminum a little bit, and I'm going to try to make the little brackets out of aluminum and put the holes in it, and I'll come back when I get a little bit more done. So. Alright, so I made a couple pieces of aluminum little, like, I guess you'd call them like little standoffs. And I think I'm going to weld it just like that, which will put it basically right on those holes there, and it'll hang off the end there. Hopefully, yeah, hopefully that'll be strong enough. This thing is super light. I mean, it's weighs less than a pound, so I don't see why it wouldn't be strong enough. So but we'll try it. I'll weld it on there and see how it feels. If it doesn't feel very strong, I can always cut it off. So alright, so here's what we come up with. Just a couple little L brackets welded on there, and I marked the holes. You know, I just kind of set it down there on top of that sway bar bracket, and then I'm going to drill those holes. Alright, we got it mounted. Everything looks really good. I think it's gonna be fine. I think it's gonna be strong. So I think we can go ahead and just finish it up. I'm not really worried about it coming off. The bolts aren't tight yet, but yeah, that's gonna be nicely out of the way there. This sticks up a little bit, but it's still not like really in the way of anything. And then once I do I'm gonna do a fuel cell here. It shouldn't be in the way because it's actually further in than the intercooler piping. So when I make a fuel cell, the fuel cell is gonna come right here, which is pretty far away from that. So I think it's a great spot, and you know, I could have done it easier. I could have just used like a piece of L bracket or something. I could have like used something like this, but it's a good excuse to use the TIG welder and practice with it. So, all right, so we got it mounted, and I've got the first line ran. I cut it to length and put the fittings on the end. That one goes through the intake down around here, and then it's going to hook up on this side. Pretty simple. Everything's out of the way. I like that the only thing is the other line's going to have to be kind of run over the motor a little bit, but we'll see. Okay, it's tight. You don't want to over tighten those fittings, yeah. And fittings, you don't have to over tighten them. Just snug. If you over tighten them, they will leak. So, all right, so we got that one done. Looks really nice. And right into there. So I got to run another one. So this one's is gonna come off of this here. I'm just gonna do a hose clamp on that one. That way I don't have to take all this out and do a weld bung and all that, and then get a 90. It's just, I don't know. To me, it's unnecessary. This is the same diameter as the hose, so I'm not really wouldn't be gaining anything by putting an and fitting on there. So let's see. Probably gonna run it like that. I don't know, that's kind of janky, but maybe through here. Yeah, that might work. And then right down through where the throttle body is, kind of use that little slot there, just right over the valve cover. All right, that's gonna do it. This one's just gonna come across here. That's the best place I could put it. Ran it down through the one of the runners. Clears all that really good. The other one's right there. So if I ever have to take the valve covers off or anything like that, I just have to disconnect it here and move it over to this area here. So it's really not a big deal. But I mean, I'm not super stoked the way that looks, but the only other thing I could do would be to see this thing is pointing the wrong direction. Unless if I could spin this around and run it that way and then back around and then over to here. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. I don't know. And then I just wrap this up because I need to buy one more Dash 8 fitting. I thought I had enough, but I didn't. So I'm gonna have to order one more. So I just put a little rag around it so no oil will leak out of it. But yeah, so yeah, and I don't know, in my last video I was talking about the shifter gate. So I ordered this reverse pattern shifter gate, and the package was mismarked. So it's the exact same gate as I already have, and so I got to send that back and get the reverse pattern gate, because right now I have the forward pattern in there and I need the reverse. So, and they sent me another forward. But anyway, all right, before I close out the video, I'm going to take it for a quick rip and just kind of try to hold the camera and show you guys. Right now I got the laptop logging right now, so it's logging what we're doing. So I just wanted to check that out. You can tell it's got kind of like a little hiccup when you hit the throttle, but it's no big deal. I'm just going to take it and just kind of roll into it just a little bit to see if we can make a little boost, and I'll kind of put the camera down here. So into it in second gear, see what happens. Made a few pounds of boost, but it just was pegged on like below where the AFR could even read. It was like below 10. It was like right at 10 AFR, and that's pig rich. It just was blowing smoke, and yeah, it's just way too rich. So once we get that cleaned up, it'll make boost. I can tell it started to make boost though. But what's nice is I'll pause the log and I'll save it, and then I'll go over tonight and look at it and see just how rich it was. It was definitely really rich. So, but anyway, that's gonna do it for this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoy it, and we'll be back with some more. This is starting to get exciting, starting to drive this thing. So, like, share, and subscribe. See you.